What's up, YouTube? And Merry Christmas to y'all. It's Christmas Eve. I'm here just going to film a knife collection video. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but right now, as you can tell, these are my fixed blades. So I am going to do maybe this in sections, maybe make one big video or release this in sections. But I'm going to start off here with my fixed blades. This knife here is an MKM Micro. I think it's a Micro 1. I think there's a 1 and a 2, and the 2 is like a sheep's foot. This is a 20 CV blade or an M390 blade, and it's probably my most carried knife. It's a neck knife. I'm wearing it even when I'm dressed in work clothes. Fits great in the hand. It's like perfectly balanced. Perfect weight distribution. It does about 95% of everything you need it to do. It's comes with a leather sheath. It's got a magnet and this neck thing. It just disappears on your neck. It's great. I love it. And here is a Bradford G-necker. It comes comes raw with nothing here on the handle, and I actually did this paracord. I wrapped it. I watched the YouTube video and put it on there. It looks okay. It's also a neck knife, and I also watched a YouTube video and figured out how to do this neck thing, and it adjusts. So it's really cool. The only problem with this wearing paracord around the neck on my motorcycle, because this is when I wear the neck knives typically. At first, I was wearing it up only when I rode a motorcycle. It irritates my neck. You ride all day, it leaves your neck pretty raw. So this is an L Max. It's a great little blade. It's thick, kind of stabby, I guess. But I didn't really use it very much in camping, in particular, because it's got paracord on there, and I didn't want to get like blood or any kind of juices on here because then it'll get really nasty pretty quickly. But so I carried, I went from this little one on my neck to this one. And then I decided to go with another knife down the line here. I'll get to that. So here is a Bowie blade by Hinderer. It's the Emmett. It's a fantastic blade. It's 20 CV. It's got great ergonomics. If you ever have a Hinderer, you know that their ergonomics is really awesome. The blade is not real sharp. I've sharpened it a little bit, and it works okay. But it is a thick blade. Feels great in the hand. I'll wear this when I'm hiking. It's a good size for that. It's a belt knife. Comes in this leather sheath. It's not too big. And so there's that. Then I got this Bowie knife also from Hinderer. It's in 3V steel. I don't know the name of it. I can't remember the name. But it's a 10-inch knife. And it's ridiculously big. I have never worn this knife. I figured I was going to do it for hiking, but it's just so big it slaps on your leg as you walk, and I figured I would use it for camping, but I don't need something this big. So it's now just a collection piece, just sitting here gathering dust. Maybe one day I'll use it, but never use this knife. All right, moving on. Then you got this Firecraft by White River Knives. Comes in this Kydex sheath. It's an appendix carry. Also comes with a fire starter, a rod. So it's a great camping knife. And actually, I've never used this knife. It's a great camping knife that I've never used. How's that? But I love this blade shape. It's going to be great for food prep. And, it's squared off here on the spine. So it'd be awesome to start a fire. I mean, watched several videos on it. I just have other knives that I take camping, and I actually bought this originally as a neck knife because they had the holes here, and I figured I'd I was trying to replace this knife with a larger one, and then this is just too large, too heavy. And I like to appendix carry it, but I quickly got another knife to appendix carry. So this is one of the purchases that I made that I really haven't used. I'm starting to car camp a lot more. I do a lot of camping on my motorcycle. So when I do that, I have to carry as small of the stuff that I can carry and still have it be practical. So this is just a larger knife and just never made it into the rotation. Maybe one day. This is a brand new knife that I just got. It's another White River Knives. You can tell by their very subtle branding here on the blade. This blade is amazing. It also comes with a fire starter stick, or what do they call that? Ferro rod. It's got a crown, a 90-degree spine here. It's going to be great for striking it. Back here, the spine is a little rounded, but up right past here, from here down, it's squared off. And that was designed on purpose to be that way. So it's not so sharp when you put your finger here, but it's sharp over here. This is an awesome knife, great ergonomics. The steel is done at the right HRC. I think it's done at 63. Great knife. I use this quite a bit. I mean, though it's new, I've carried it quite often considering how new it is. And I've used it for food prep in the home. I haven't been camping with it yet, but this is going to be my EDC knife if I decide to carry a fixed knife. It comes in the Kydex sheath. It normally comes in a vertical carry, but it's still in the vertical carry. And actually what happened was I tried to switch this this belt thing to make it a horizontal carry, but it just wasn't working too well because of how pronounced the handle is, the Kydex is around the handle. So I actually got a aftermarket Kydex sheath for it, which I'm not showing you because with that I won't be able to carry the ferro rod. But this is going to be an EDC knife, and basically I'm going to skip. I got that because I like this Bradford 3.5, Bradford Guardian 3.5. But I wear this when I go hiking and camping, and it's strapped to my water bladder, on one of the straps to my water bladder, and it pops off, so you don't have to string it through. You can attach it to a solid strap. And so I got this sheath for this knife. But essentially, I like this form, and you'll see if you compare these two. These are very similar sized knives. So I like the form of this one so much that I didn't want to take it on and off my water bladder constantly. So I figured, let me get another similar knife to it. So I got this one. And this is a more knifey looking knife, if that's at all possible. Plus I like White River Knives, and I have an obsession with knives. So I got this one. So this I said that this knife is probably my most carried knife, and that's true. But this one here is probably my most used knife. When I'm camping, this is really my go-to knife. And when I'm riding my motorcycle, it's always on me, or hiking, it's always on me. And if I ever need to use this for anything, it's always on me. So that's those two. This is a relatively new knife. It's also a White River Knives. It's a GTI 3. So 3 stands for 3-inch. I mean, it is a thick, chunky monkey. Look how thick that stock is. It's got G10 handles here. It is an awesome feeling knife. It's small and it's a 3-finger knife, but I don't care. I mean, it feels great, and you can use the 4th finger just to lock it in so it doesn't slide down your hand or whatever. This is a great knife. I use it often when I'm carrying it. This is a EDC knife that I carry often. It's just not so great for food prep, but I like to eat apples, and in particular, and so this is so thick that it's not really good to, slice an apple, whatever, and other things because it's so thick. But it is going to be something that you can use it as a pry bar or whatever. It's a great self-defense knife as far as I'm concerned. It's stout. it's hardcore, right? And it's small, compact. It comes like all these White River knives comes with this Kydex sheath, and this one I was able to turn to a scout carry. I really like to scout carry my fixed blades. The vertical carry for me is, I don't like it as much because it becomes visible, and I really don't like to advertise that I have a self defense tool on me, because sometimes I think that'll make you a target if you ever we're in a situation where you might be able to use this in self defense, but you had to wait for the right moment. And again, I don't really overthink these scenarios in my head, but the reality of it is, I like to conceal I like to conceal my fixed blade and my pocket knife also, but that's easy because it's in your pocket. But I like a horizontal knife, so that's a horizontal knife. And here is this is another fixed blade. It's a horizontal carry, like I just said. It's another White River Knives, based on the emblem there. It's the M1 Backpacker Pro. Just did a video on this and just released it, so check it out. I've used this knife quite a bit, and I've said I've used all these knives, and I think I basically this knife, these three knives are in my EDC rotation, right? This one's on my water bladder. It's affixed to that, so I'm only using that when I'm hiking and I'm riding my motorcycle, which is often, but that's permanently affixed to that, and it doesn't really come off. Pardon me. I got a little something in my throat. I'm coming down with something, or I'm actually getting over something. Anyway, so these three knives here are my go-to everyday EDC fixed blade knives. I love them. This thing is really thin and slicey. It's a great EDC knife. It's a little small. It's not the most ergonomic knife, but it's concealable. It's got it's got the advantage of being small, so it's concealable, but because it's small, it's thin, and it doesn't fill your hand quite as well as these here, but it's small and it's light. So there you go. All right. Here is my MKM, which is similar to this knife, the same company, and this is the Macro. I think it's called Macro 1, because the 2 would be the sheep foot. So this also has the drop point, or whatever you want to call this, and the sheep's foot. The blade stock is really thick, nice and rounded. It's got great jimping on there. It's also perfectly balanced. It's hard to film this, but trust me, it's just resting on my finger. It's perfectly balanced. Feels great in the hand. This is a carbon fiber version, as you can tell, but they have a micarta version. It is thick, and it's really capable, but it's not the most sliciest knife ever. But I've honed this on my ceramic rods and stropping compound, on the leather strop. So it's good. I mean, it's good enough. It's not a real slicer per se, but for its intended use, this is a great knife. It comes with this leather sheath, just like this one, and it's got a magnet. And this one you can put around your belt, or you can stick it in your pocket. You can stick the knife in your pocket, and then just put the magnet on the outside of your pants pocket, and it sits in there pretty well. It doesn't. I wouldn't really trust it to retain, the sheath in a panic situation, to retain it in your pocket and have it pull it out. But you can pull it out and just do that, or whatever. Again, I don't think about these scenarios. But this is a easily carried fixed blade. You can stick this whole thing in your pocket and it just disappears. It doesn't have to be stuck out. But if you want to stick it out, you can use the magnet. And it's a good looking knife. This leather is real nice. I really enjoy this knife. I tend to prefer carrying my appendix carry knives, just because that's what I prefer, right? But I have worn this quite a few times. And then here, my final knife. This knife was my uncle's, and who's passed away, and I have never actually used it, but apparently he used it quite a bit, right? So it's a Buck 107. I have no clue what steel it is, but it must be stainless because I don't see a stain on it. And it looks like it's been sharpened to, quite a bit here, though it doesn't really, it's got a little bit of a smile. Anyway, nice and thin. I don't know if you can still get this, but I'm just showing you my entire collection. So this is part of my collection. So that is the fixed knives. Now so I'm going to take this off. I'm going to set up the table and get ready for some other knives.